All right, here we go. So the Dow had a 5-day, no, 4-day losing streak, and everybody was nervous because of the inflation data that was released this morning. And we have more inflation data coming in tomorrow. So today we'll take a look at what happened here this morning. What impact does it have on the markets? What's happening here with the Fed meeting next week? Will they still lower interest rates? And then also a few earnings that were surprising. Dave and Buster's so reported earnings. Kind of a shock there. Macy's as well, and we have news from GM. So as you can see, there's a lot to talk about. And with that said, welcome to Coffee with Marcus and Mark. And today is Wednesday, December 11th. And this show, we're going to talk to you about what's happening in the markets and how we are trading it. All right, Mark, I have the Dow up. Going into today, the Dow was sliding, basically hitting 45,000. And then after that, kind of pulling back towards 44,000 again.
Yeah, interesting to see the Dow not participating in this move, but it had a pretty strong run, and we know that with the interest in tech and AI and everything, that the Nasdaq has kind of been playing, uh, taking the lead when the Dow's been pulling back. So a little bit of an inverse relationship recently between the two, and we see that today as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, today, let's just look at it. Year to date, the Nasdaq up 34%. Holy cannoli. The S&P up 28%. And the Dow, as you said, lagging up 17% for the year. And then today, everybody was waiting for the inflation data. The CPI, the Consumer Price Index, was released this morning, expected to tick up higher, and it came in line with expectations.
Yeah, look at that. So a tick higher, but I think that the big thing here is that there wasn't a surprise, right? That was the bigger concern here, because coming in line with expectations or better. I mean that's one thing, but no surprise is what the markets wanted, and that's why we rallied after that report this morning. Also, why probabilities changed.
Yeah, let's take a look at a 5-minute chart of the E-mini S&P so that we see the overnight action. And we talked about it this morning with our mastermind members. Going into the report, it was as flat as is could be. I mean, look at this. Basically just flatlining. And then the report was being released, and suddenly this is what we call a relief rally, right? I mean, everybody, a sigh of relief, like, okay, phew, it is getting worse, but not worse than expected.
Exactly. And so flatlining just shows that investors really just waiting for this key report. I mean, that's the chart that you have if there's just waiting and waiting and waiting, and like you said, relief rally popping higher, and there's still some more data tomorrow, though, Marcus.
Yeah, let's take a look a little bit at the data today. So inflation higher at 2.7, but here's kind of the good news. So core inflation, less food and energy, has not ticked up. So we saw it a little bit with food and energy because, yeah, I don't know. It seems that food prices were higher. The good news here is that shelter has come down. Let me see if we have it here in the report somewhere. There it is. So could get a rent increase of 0.2%, and that is not a whole lot. I mean, it was shelter, which accounts for 40%, rose 4.7%. That's down from the previous months. I mean, home prices and rent have just gone up. Now, used vehicle prices are up again now. I mean, they used to be go down, so they're up. And then we see food cost 2.4% annually. The energy index 3.2%. I'm a little bit surprised. I was surprised by this because crude oil has been trading at pretty low prices. I mean, we were between what, 67 and 71 somewhere here. That surprised me a little bit. But I mean,
Yeah.
overall, we see, okay, so inflation has kind of hit a wall here, not moving lower, ticking up a little bit, and well, let's see what traders think about it for a rate cut next week. And we said it yesterday. I mean, this today could really change the probabilities. And boy, it did, didn't it?
Yeah, it looks like traders are all in on a cut.
Traders are all in. Right after the report, the probabilities jumped to 99.9%. I mean, it couldn't get any higher. Right now, pulled back a little bit, but traders don't seem to be concerned about this particular inflation report and say, all right, so yes, it has been ticking higher and this was expected. So, yes, the Fed can go ahead and cut rates right now for next week, a 96.4% probability.
And that to me isn't too much of a surprise. I think 2025 is going to be really interesting when it comes to the Fed and what happens there. So, future probabilities. I mean, not a big change after today's report, but I think that that's the it's gonna be interesting. Only two cuts priced in based on Fed funds futures, and that right now is the wild card. But we have the Fed meeting next week. Maybe we get a little more insight into what the Fed might be thinking for 2025 now. Traders thinking though cuts pretty much a sure thing.
Yeah, and we have one more inflation report coming in tomorrow, which is the PPI, the Producer Price Index. Now, the Producer Price Index is supposed to stay at 0.2% months over months. The core PPI, excluding food and no, excluding not food, but excluding energy, is actually supposed to drop. Now, there's more elements in the PPI that compares to the PCE index that the Fed is looking at than the CPI, but we'll see. So therefore, another big one tomorrow. So today, a sigh of relief and a relief rally that we see here in the market. So if you look at the S&P 500 and a 5-minute chart, we opened higher, have moved higher, and we are still trading at session highs here.
Yeah, look at the VIX, Marcus. The fear index looks like traders are saying, "Who cares what PPI says?" I mean, you never know if there's a bit of a surprise there, but generally speaking, CPI is the bigger one, the one that is looked at closer. The VIX just dropping now, no fear.
Yeah. And at the same time, Bitcoin just smashed through the 100,000 again. And I mean, Bitcoin
Yep.
really had a hard time with the 100,000 level here over the last few weeks, actually. So a few times it held as resistance. Then we broke through, but fell right back. Had a little bit more resistance at 100,000. And this morning, again, peaking above 100,000, currently trading at 100,695. Do you think that right now Bitcoin can finally break through and stay above
Stay above.
100,000?
I I think I think it could definitely. I think it's getting ready to break through. But
I
so
don't think it's
I'll.
ready yet. I think that
You don't
this
think
will
it's
be
ready?
another peak above and will pull back. So I think I do believe that until the end of the year we will just linger around the 100,000 and maybe going into 2025. This is where we'll see a significant breakthrough. But hey, what do I know? All right, a few earnings today coming out. And first of all, we have Macy's reporting earnings. So, Macy's reporting earnings actually coming in better than expected. Look at this. So, surprise. And yet they're falling 6% right now.
Yeah, but this is the guidance, Marcus. This is where they had that earnings beat. They also had the revenue beat there, but they issued some guidance, cutting their guidance for the year. I think it was.
They did, but a nice bounce back after the initial shock. And Macy's also paying a dividend or going ex dividend on Friday, and a quite generous dividend here of 17 cents.
Sure.
So, all right. What else? Play. Dave and Buster's reported earnings and kind of a shocker here.
Yeah, look at that. Just a bunch of red there with an earnings miss, also a revenue miss. So Dave and Buster is getting hit today. What's that? 15% lower.
15% lower. Yeah. And also, after they're reporting these earnings, the CEO kind of said, and that's it for me. I'm out. So the
Yeah,
CEO also exited. And this is just right now creating uncertainty. I mean, we have been trading Dave and Buster's, especially during the pandemic. So right now, would you consider this as a possible wheel trade?
You know, it looks like you have some decent support there, and I I'm looking numbers wise, 4 out of the last 5 quarters at least as positive net income, 4 out of 5 years. It might be something to consider. Oh, they switched to monthly
They switched to monthly
options.
options, yeah, no
Yeah,
longer weekly options.
that's what I was thinking. So for me, it's a no because of monthly options. I prefer weekly options when I'm selling puts and calls.
Yeah. And then some news from GM this morning. GM basically said, you know what? We are no longer funding the cruise division because it's getting too expensive. We are actually focusing, there we have it, um, on realigning its autonomous driving strategy to focus on advanced driver assistance systems and autonomous systems for use in personal vehicles. So kind of a shocker here out of Cruise because they have been betting big on this and sunk a few $1 billion into that.
Do you think that's a wave to Tesla saying you won, tip in the hat?
Well, kind of because interesting. Usually, what you would see is if a company, let me just go here. If a company announces that they are exiting kind of a losing business division here, it should spark it higher. And pre-market, GM initially was jumping higher, but now it seems that traders, investors think, yeah, they're kind of giving up on this and say, all right, you know what, Tesla and Uber, you guys figure it out. We let you battle around this, and we're out. We're just watching from the sidelines.
It is a bit of a surprise, but it's probably a good strategic decision, especially, I mean, if they're exiting, they know why.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at our positions. And first up, this morning, we do have another WTF trade. MS Morgan Stanley popped up on the WTF scanner. And what did we do, Mark?
I bought shares.
Yes, we followed our plan, bought shares at around 127.75 right now, trading 80 cents below. But we see a super solid company moving higher, recently dipping a little bit. This is where we WTF win the fear, bought some shares, and now we'll see what happens. Earlier today, they were up a little bit, now slightly down, trading below our entry, but we are okay with that.
Yep.
And then we have quite a long list of trades. ABT, we did not take this one, but BKR, Baker Hughes, and Baker Hughes today doing exactly what we wanted to do, up 1.5% from our entry at 42.41, right now trading at 41.82. So we'll see. It's going in the right direction right now. Let's see when we get an exit here.
Looking good.
CTAS, also Cintas Corporation. We entered at 209.16, right now trading at 211, doing exactly what we wanted to do. So we have a solid company that is moving higher. We'll then see that there's a sudden drop. We are winning the fear, we are buying the dip, and then we just ride the way back up.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Fastenal Corporation this morning, at first moving a little bit lower. Right now, still down, but around break even. And this year, it seems that we entered a little bit early, but we had our signals. We are following our plan. Shoulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda. Should have waited a couple of more days, but hey, right now seeing a nice reversal today and pushing up towards our entry point again.
But pre-market, there were some interesting trades. It looked like it was setting up to open even lower. So I'll take this.
Yeah. All right, MET, MedLife. I mean, MedLife is the one that is right now not doing what it's supposed to do. So right now, still moving a little bit lower. We entered at 82, 82.28. Right now, trading at 80.65. So down $1.40. Our stop loss is way down here, so we have plenty of room. And again, solid company moving up. And we previously saw on the dip, we bought it. worked out nicely. We had a nice recovery, and that's what we are looking for right now.
Yep.
All right, two more. ODFL, Old Dominion Freight Line, and also today slightly down, but looking good, trading right around our entry price, bounced off the 200-day moving average. And again, solid company, moving higher, had this dip. We win the fear, we buy, and we're hoping for it to move higher right now. And
Hanging
same
in there.
here with, yep, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, hanging in there.
Hanging in there. And then TMUS, T-Mobile USA, T-Mobile US, doing exactly again what we're looking for. So this is the setup. We look for a company that is nicely moving up, trading above the 200-day moving average. Suddenly has a dip. We are buying the dip. We're winning the fear, and now it moves higher. We're at 234.81 right now, trading at 235.81, so up around $1.
Looking good.
All right, let's hop over to our wheel, and lots of interesting stuff going on there. So first of all, one of your wheel positions, BP. BP this morning around the flat line after having a great couple of days here.
Yeah, it does look like we had that nice jump, breaking to the upside out of that little range there. Maybe finding some support around 30. So it doesn't look bad, but would like to see some follow through.
Yeah. CSIQ this morning, CSIQ first jumped on the good news that interest rates might come down, but then it realized, oh, wait, this was kind of certain. So what's going on into the next year? However, right now, loving that we are still staying above the 12 here. Looks like we are jumping into a nice uptrend. I mean, at this point, I think that the next support or the next resistance here is at 1350. And once we break through this, we have plenty of white space to go up to 1650, 20, and then towards our cost basis.
It's in a good range. Just wanted to take off and
It wants to take off. All right, HAL Halliburton today slightly down a quarter percentage point. We'll see what happens there. Nothing to do here. And then Coles. Coles today lower, and no surprise there because Coles is going ex-dividend today, meaning that today the shareholders on record are entitled to a 50-cent dividend. And it is absolutely normal that it is dipping by the dividend amount. Right now down 63%, so a little bit more probably being dragged down by Macy's. But we also know that based on our dividend capture, that Kohl's is typically recovering fairly quickly from the dividend drop. So usually
Yeah.
it just takes around a day or a few days to recover.
Yeah, this is a nice dividend, and it's a large one for the price of the stock. But like you said, Marcus typically recovers in a reasonable amount of time, and a majority of today's drop tied to that dividend, which is expected. But the Macy's slide is probably putting a little more pressure on this.
Yeah. But hey, I'm completing my rescue mission here. I sold puts at 15, so I would be okay if I'm getting assigned and then we see the rally back up. So, I mean,
Sure.
let's see. If not, I'll sell some more puts again and just collect more premium, bring down my break even. So once I'm collecting the dividend, which is not yet because it's only ex-dividend date, but this will kind of lower my break even by another 50 cents, bringing it down to 17.74. And every time I can collect more premium, we'll keep lowering our break even.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, and then there's Merck. Merck yesterday having a pretty bad day. So Merck yesterday dropping 2.7%. Today, a little bit of a follow through, down 0.5%. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, initially it looked like it was finally breaking through the 103, 103.50 resistance that we had here. Now it seems that we are finding some support right around 100. So the next breakout, let's go for it.
Yeah, and I think staying above 100 is still positive for this one, just chart wise. So hope it rallies from here.
It should be good. And then we have our bittersweet UPS Mark. What do you think about this?
UPS, absolutely bittersweet because we were looking to fly that rescue on Monday, had the right idea, but it took off. And now, hoping that the rally continues, but at the same time, if it pulls back, we'll be ready.
Yeah. So, I mean, either way, today slightly down 0.3%. So that's what's happening here. And then a trade that you took yesterday, ON. And I mean, we've been talking about it a few times. You have been trading this a few times right here at the 64 level.
Yeah, I think that there's some nice ranges in ON, and I sold the 64 put. Right now, it's at 64% of the max profit potential on this one. So I'll see if I get a 1 day 80% exit. If not, 90% exit or hold until Friday.
All right. Having fun with this one. And you've been trading it quite a few times, right?
Yeah, I think it's a fun one to trade with the wheel strategy. There's some nice premium, and it tends to trade in these nice ranges.
Right. All right, before we go back to the markets, keep in mind that we have our holiday calendar that is going on. If you want to participate, there's a link in the description, rockwelltrading.com/holiday. Today, share your favorite holiday song. And we see that in the group, a lot of you are participating here, sharing their favorite song. So what do we have here? Okay, I have not heard about this. I need to listen to this. Trixie loves Mariah Carey. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. I love this song. This is such a fun song. Okay, and then of course we also had the puzzle. It's just such a fun tradition that we have here. So definitely, if you want to participate, there's a link in the description. Okay, so let's see if the markets can continue the rally. And before we do this, it is the time of the day for our dad joke. And seems, Mark, that yesterday I won. I mean, I declare myself as a winner.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, you're probably going to win today too, Marcus, because I really don't have a joke, but I was thinking, I've had this beard for a while, and at first I wasn't too sure about it, but then it grew on me.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I know. I know.
All right.
Go
Now,
ahead,
I
Marcus.
don't know if I
Tell your
told you, but
Christmas joke. You're like a bad department store, just talking about Christmas way ahead of time.
mm,
I'm kidding.
um, talking about Christmas, I'm taking a break from the Christmas dad jokes right now, and just
Okay.
wanted to let you know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I don't know if I ever told you that I have a step ladder because my real ladder left me when I was a kid. All right. Hey, you guys vote. All right, look at this. So in the S&P 500, we are still trading at session highs. The Dow right now just diddling along. So the Dow not participating, but the winner today, the Nasdaq, trading at session highs. And right now attacking the 20,000 level. So look at this. The Nasdaq making new
Wow.
all-time highs. S&P and Dow not yet participating. The IWM, the Russell 2000 also looking good today earlier, but right now pulling back a little bit. And the VIX, as you said, still falling here right now, down 4.5% for the day, down below 14 again, trading at 1355. So tomorrow we have the all important PPI report. Let's see if also it comes in line with expectations. But for today, the Nasdaq is just up and away, and 34% for the year so far. Jeez, oh Pete! And the Santa
Wow.
Claus rally is still ahead of us.
Will we have one?
Will we have one? Well, find out. Just subscribe to the channel. This way you get notified whenever we go live. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give us a like, and also make sure that you share this video or this podcast, wherever you're listening to this, with others. Really appreciate it. There's a share button somewhere here on the page. There's probably some people who can find this useful, so please feel free to share it. And then let us know in the comment who won the dad joke contest today. And with that said, have a great rest of the day, and tune in tomorrow when we cover the PPI data.
Happy trading, everybody.